A big criticism in recent years has been these RPGs are not enough like the Assassin's Creed I grew up with. Which I understand. If you don't enjoy the RPGs, that is your prerogative.
Sure.
I don't think either of us care.
No.
Not like we don't care about your opinion, but like it's fine to not like something.
Yeah. Well, and then I'm glad you brought this up too, because there is that underlying opinion with the RPGs of, well, this is not like the originals. But let's not kid ourselves. A lot of the original Assassin's Creed games also faced heavy criticisms.
And had problems.
Yeah, stop. To me, this is the same people who are original trilogy purists. Like, the argument for years was, well, the prequels suck. If you hate the prequels, you're a cuck.
Well, that's where it gets bad to me, is because it becomes like you're not a real fan if you like the RPGs.
Right, and
I don't feel that way about people who don't like them.
No, me neither.
Like, you can still be a real Assassin's Creed fan and not enjoy the RPGs.
Yes, I don't get that.
That's what makes me mad, is I've seen people say that about you and me.
Right.
I've literally seen people in the comments say, like, well, you guys aren't real Assassin's Creed fans if you like the RPG ones. Those aren't real Assassin's Creed.
I like all of them.
But to me, it's like, why are you gatekeeping what Assassin's Creed can be?
Well, and
you don't have to like it.
And then the bar changes, too.
Yeah, because Assassin's Creed 4, that was a pirate game.
Yes.
That was not...
It was never an Assassin's Creed game.
Like, it's still in the Assassin's Brotherhood. It happens in the timeline. We love the game to death.
Yes.
But... how come, like, it's okay for 4 to become a pirate simulator, and then it's okay for Syndicate to become a gang boss simulator?
Right.
And those are real Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
But, like, oh, I'm sorry, you're dealing with the hidden ones a little too early on, and and there's numbers in the combat. That's not cool. Like, if you don't like these things, that's fine. But, like, this whole you're not a real fan thing, I think that could practically be a whole nother video on its own. Because, like, I'm so tired of hearing that about shit. Like, I have never respected the people. If you don't like something, fine. But don't go around telling people they're not a real fan just because they do.
Right.
Or don't.
Right.
Somebody doesn't like the RPGs, you're just as much of a fucking dick for telling them they're not a real fan.
Right.
Just because they don't like them.
Right.
It's just stupid.
It is stupid.
Believe it or not, I scaled my language way back from what I was originally going to say.
I can tell. I can see the anger.
You can probably see certain words forming.
But yeah, no, I think it's just what I was trying to get at earlier.
You're angry too.
I am angry. What I was trying to get at earlier too is then the bar changes too.
Yeah.
Like with these Star Wars things, for years it was, well, you like the prequels. The prequels aren't really Star Wars. And then the Disney stuff came out, and then the bar changed to, oh, I was actually a George Lucas fan. So I like 1 through 6. Like, no, you didn't. You gatekept Star Wars from a lot of people. You maybe not you specifically. Like, I'm not talking to the person listening, but it's like stop changing the bar. For years with Assassin's Creed, it was, you know, when 3 came out, 4 got the exception. When 5 came out, when Syndicate came out, when Rogue came out, it was, well, these games just suck. These games are so bad. And then the RPG games came out, and then the bar changed. And
the same thing happened.
Well, actually, I was always a fan of the original style. It's like, no, you weren't.
Quickly deleting Reddit comments
no, you weren't.
from 5 years ago.
You're just a fan of the Ezio trilogy.
Right.
Like, let's say it for what it is, and now you're trying to roll back on your original statements of, well, actually, wait a minute, I actually love the... No, you didn't.
But I want to talk about this not a real fan thing, because I see this a lot, and I didn't think about talking about this till you brought it up, but I see this a lot with everything. I see this with Sonic the Hedgehog, of all things. Oh, you're a 3D fan. Well, that's a different kind of game. You're not a real Sonic fan. Real Sonic fans play 2D on a CRT TV while drinking expired milk from 1985. And it's like, well, no, why can't I sit down and enjoy Sonic and Knuckles, but also sit down and have fun on Sonic Frontiers? People sit down and they do all this weird gatekeeping of like, and you know what it is? You've studied logical fallacies, right?
I have.
It is just no true Scotsman.
Yes.
The idea of no true Scotsman, if no one knows what this is, or if somebody doesn't know what it is, I guess I should say, is essentially this. It was an argument back in the day. It was a nationalist argument. And the idea of the argument was, well, no true Scotsman would believe that. And so the idea was, now, if you're not Scottish, this probably doesn't matter to you, but I could just do it like, you hear this all the time. No true red-blooded American would believe this.
Right.
And the idea is that I'm appealing to your emotions and trying to make you mad so that you will change your opinion because you're like, well, no, I'm a true American.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're trying to do, is you're gatekeeping the idea of what something is by shaming people for what their opinion is on something else.
Right.
So if I say, no true Assassin's Creed fan would shit on Valhalla, they would be open to it. Well, okay, now what I've done is I've alienated all the people who dislike that game and said they're not really fans because they don't like something that maybe I liked.
Right.
That's just dumb. That's a bad argument. And I've seen it with Sonic. I've seen it with Star Wars. I've seen it with Star Trek.
Yes.
I've seen it with Assassin's Creed a ton. I've seen it with Call of Duty, Marvel, Halo.
Yes.
Whenever something like changes a little bit, this always happens. And we can have the argument that it shouldn't change. You know, I'm totally open to that argument. If your argument is Assassin's Creed had it perfect, why change the formula? That is a valid criticism and a valid argument. But don't go down the road of you're not a real fan if you did like the change or if you didn't. Because to me, what that says, as soon as I see that, as soon as I see like the you're not a real fan if, I'm not listening to you anymore.
Right.
I've immediately shut down. I don't care. You could say the most logical thing of all time. I don't care.
It doesn't
anymore.
matter.
It doesn't matter because like you open with an insult.
Well, and it also begs the question of why is your opinion the gospel opinion on this topic?
Right.
Like, why is it like, I don't like the RPG elements of Assassin's Creed. You're not a real fan if you like those. It's like, okay, but why, what is your opinion? Why is your opinion better than my opinion? Like, maybe my opinion is the RPG elements are way better than the originals. Who's better?
Right.
No, neither of us are.
Well, I mean,
it's an opinion.
Even if one of the main writers of Assassin's Creed came in and said that,
yes,
I would still think that's a dumb thing to say.
It is very dumb.
Because, like, you can have more knowledge on the lore, you can have more time sitting at the screen playing or developing something, and I still think that by trying to gatekeep and alienate what a fan is, you're really making a big mistake.
Yes.
Now, I do think that there are disingenuous things that are done in fiction all the time. So, like, for example, changing a character to appeal to a demographic just because.
Right.
So, like, tomorrow if they retconned Ezio and he was black. Or if tomorrow they retconned Bayek and he was white.
Right.
Or if, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, I think we can have a conversation about that, about how writers or marketers or companies are being disingenuous and trying to use people's feelings and identities to get somewhere. Those are conversations you can have. You can have conversations about quality. You can have conversations about whether these changes should happen or not. But for me, as soon as it hits the point of like, well, no real fans, blah, 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 I don't care. And I even saw that with elements from the original games. I saw that when I talked about the multiplayer shutting down. I saw people say like, well, none of the real fans of Assassin's Creed cared about that multiplayer. And it's like, really? Because like a lot of people were interested in it.
Yeah.
So just because you didn't care and you've deemed yourself the real fan of X
Right.
doesn't mean that other people don't care. It just means you don't. And that's fine. If I come up, there are things I don't care about that people care about. I don't really care about Rick and Morty. I don't hate it. And maybe someday I will watch a bunch of Rick and Morty and I will fall madly in love with Rick and I will turn myself into a pickle and I will love that show. You know, that's fine. It's fine to not like or not care about something. But just to me, I know I repeated myself a few times here, but when it hits that point of like, no blah, blah, blah would really think this, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because that's just being a dick.
Well, it is being a dick, and it's just silly. Like it's a nonsensical argument. When every element you think about that argument always comes back to this is stupid.
Yeah, basically.
So it's like why have we gone there as a society?
Well, and also you could so easily turn that around on people too. It's like, would real fans of Assassin's Creed really target and attack other people who like the series and tell them whether or not they're real fans or not?
Right.
Would they really gatekeep it?
Yes.
I don't know. You know, like, you tell me. It's like you can so easily turn that argument around on people. And then it just becomes like, I know you are, but what am I? It's like a 2-year-old argument.
Right.
As silly as this might sound, at the end of the day, you have to let people enjoy what they enjoy. You don't have to, and you don't have to support it. Halloween Ends is a great example. You enjoyed the movie for what it was, not an attack on you. You have your criticisms of it. I really didn't. Now, at the end of the day, you can tell me why you enjoyed it, and you did. And I can tell you why I didn't enjoy it, and I did. But I don't think either of us would say, well, that opinion doesn't match up with someone who likes the other movies, you can't possibly be a fan of the movies.
Right.
Because, like, even when I was talking about the other movies and I was like, hey, listen, how does this make sense with the other movies in mind? The argument's never, well, you can't be a real fan then.
Right.
It's just, I don't think this lore lines up, do you? And then talk about it.
Right.
And I think that you asked, how do we get here as, like, a group of people? Because it's not just about Assassin's Creed, it's about everything. Every fandom, politics, religion. I mean, this idea happened with religion. Like the split. The Catholic split into, like, Catholics and Lutherans and Protestants and all these other things.
Yeah.
You look back throughout history, no real Scotsman has been an argument that's been used somehow successfully throughout history.
Right.
Of, well, if you were a real man, I mean, that's another one too. If you were a real man, you'd do this, or you wouldn't feel that way. And it works on people because it pisses them off. But I think a lot of people, us included, have kind of caught on to that argument and gotten really sick of it. Because at the end of the day, what that is bullying.
Right.
That's just bullying someone to try and agree with you or be quiet.
Yeah, and I think it's rooted in a lot of insecurity, personally. It's, I like this thing, I don't like that thing, so I need people to agree with me.
I'm more important.
So, yeah, and it's, and like, now if I can bully you into agreeing with me, then therefore it makes me look better. Because now I have a fan who agrees with me. But that fan only agrees with you because you bullied him.
Right.
Or her.
They don't really even agree with you. They're just trying not to be, like, mocked.
Right. And it's a stupid argument.
Well,
it's a stupid mindset.
As you get more into it, I think another reason that argument's allowed to flourish is because people leave.
Yes.
Like, the even-keeled, even-tempered people who are willing to have a conversation are only willing to put up with so much disingenuous bullshit.
Yeah.
And at that point, they leave. I mean, it's why I quit, like, participating on Reddit.
Right.
It's why I don't really participate that much on Twitter outside of, like, a small circle of people. Because there's just so many people being disingenuous about stuff. Not even just disagreeing, but trying to paint you in a bad light.
Right.
Almost trying to defame you to prove their point. And trying to be important above all else. Like, I need to be recognized. I need to be valued. That's more important than the logical soundness of my argument or than the validity of what I'm saying, or even than being just genuine and admitting when I'm wrong. Because if I admit I'm wrong, I admit I'm flawed. You know? And I don't think there's not enough people willing to admit when they're wrong about stuff. I mean, I think you and I have tried, and this isn't like a humble brag. When we're wrong about stuff, we try and admit it.
Right.
You know, one of our worst Assassin's Creed takes we have ever had, that we used to have until probably last year, was that in Assassin's Creed 2, Ezio doesn't grow. And you know why we had that? Because we were poor kids who couldn't buy Bonfire Vanities when we were growing up.
Right.
And for some reason, Ubisoft cut that development out of Assassin's Creed 2. So for us, we had a bad take based off of the information we had. When we finally got to play Bonfire Vanities, it was like, wow, actually, if you include this and you look at everything he goes through, there's a ton of character development in this game.
Right.
And we, you know, I guess the point I'm trying to get at is, like, I don't think we weren't not real fans for thinking that. But I think we were wrong, and I think it's okay to admit when you're wrong. Right. Instead of having to put your foot down and say, like, because I don't like Valhalla and you do, you must hate the original Assassin's Creed and worship Satan.
Yeah.
But I don't...
Well, it's always some, like, ridiculous ultimatum, too.
Yes.
That people always put at each other, and, like you just said.
Right.
Because I hate Valhalla, it's like... Well, you like Valhalla, so you must also worship Satan. It's like, well, this doesn't even make sense.
And usually it's mixed in with ad hominem, like, also you're fat.
Right. Well, sure, but...
Yes, I am, but however, I've eaten enough copies of Assassin's Creed to know that's not true.
Right.
Watch, I'll boot one up, and you just start, like, squeezing your buttons together, and you hear a diss track.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Oh, no.
It doesn't make sense at all. I think as a society we need to stop, but also specifically as an Assassin's Creed fan base, stop.
Yeah.
Like, there is great things in every single Assassin's Creed game. Even Unity got fixed.
Yeah.
And even the old Unity, like before it got fixed, I would argue still had some good things in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, for example, I've always liked the co-op. I've always thought that concept was very interesting. Now, maybe it didn't work right, but I guess I'm interested to see what runs at now. But when it first launched, it didn't work right. However, the concept was very interesting.
Yeah.
I love the concept of being able to run around a open world with your friend and just open chests or do missions or whatever. Great. Even the original Unity had good stuff in it.
Well, I mean, even two bad takes right here. You, for example, basically had said something along the lines of no matter how much they fix Unity, it will never be fun. Mm-hmm. No offense. But then you went back and looked at it, and it's like, no, it's fun now.
Right.
The reason you had that opinion was because of how poorly it ran at launch.
Yes, it ran very bad.
There were a lot of people, myself included, who thought no matter what they do with 3, as much as I like it, it will always have just so many problems that it will kind of be an embarrassment.
Yeah.
I don't think it is anymore.
No.
I think it runs pretty well. I think it still has some problems, but I think it's a very competent Assassin's Creed game. And then, another example of this too is I think both of us weren't as open to 4 when it launched because it felt different. I mean, I think we were kind of the RPG hater of the 4 era.
Right.
Where people now are like, it's too different. I think we said that originally about 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to change your takes and have different opinions. It doesn't make you a hypocrite to change your mind.
No. It just means you have more information and you're realizing your mistake and going back on it.
Yeah, and think something different.
Yeah, no one thinks anything less of you. Let's say in a year from now you watched Halloween Ends, and let's say you came out of it and were like, actually, I actually kind of enjoyed that movie.
I would expect you to burn my house down out of principle.
Right.
Because my mind changed.
Right. I mean, my response to that wouldn't be gloating. Right. I wouldn't be like, I always liked it, you loser. It also wouldn't be like, wow, you changed your opinion. It's just like, okay, well, I'm glad you liked it now.
Well,
let's have a talk.
Usually when we change our opinions later on, the closest to gloating it ever is, see, I wanted you to watch or play that earlier, and I thought you'd like it, but you never did.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you're a big idiot. It's like, well, I was trying to tell you before that I thought this thing would be for you.
Right.
You didn't want to try it. I'm glad you finally tried it.
Right.
For you, that's Legend of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, there was some series...
Avatar.
Avatar.
I told you for a long time, watch Avatar: Last Airbender.
And I thought it looked dumb.
Yes, and then you finally watched it.
One of my favorite shows.
Love it.
It's one of my favorite shows ever. I thought it looked really dumb. Yes. I was like, why is Caillou out here flying around on a broomstick?
Right.
Why did he get these tattoos? He joined a gang.
Well, he killed his parents, and now he's got to roam around with a hot woman.
Why is he in Detroit? I don't get it. But yeah, no. I thought it looked dumb.
Yeah.
I love it now.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff like that, too, that I think people are so afraid of admitting when they had a bad take or thought something wasn't for them, and then they tried it and it was. And I also think it's okay to just not like something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you don't like the RPG games, that doesn't make you more of a fan. It just means you don't like something.
Right.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Don't hate on the people that do.
Right. And likewise for the people who do enjoy it.
Right.
I've seen that too. We can respect the past. We can enjoy the past. We can want more of the past. Mm-hmm. I want more Assassin's Creed classic games too. And I also want more characters that are inspired by Ezio as well.
Sure.
I'd love that. But we can also move forward and enjoy other things as well.
Yeah.
It's like, why not both?
Yeah.
Why not both?
I mean, that's my opinion on
really
Assassin's Creed.
Why not both?
I can run through every Assassin's Creed game, and I enjoyed them all.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed every single one.
And I also think that there's a bit of a disingenuous, like, well, that means you're easy to impress thing, too. And it's like, I don't necessarily think that, too. Maybe you just enjoyed them all.
Yeah, maybe they were just fun.
And that's fine.
To be honest, maybe you're the one that's missing out.
Yeah,
because
maybe either way.
You're failing to have an open mind with this game.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you're going into Assassin's Creed Syndicate and being like, this better be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and then, like, you miss out on some very fun elements of Syndicate.
Yeah, or maybe you go in with a completely open mind and you just don't enjoy it, and that's fine, too.
Yeah, that's also fine.
There's probably 100 things that person likes that we don't.
Sure. That's also okay.
That they would also probably feel like we're missing out on. Yep. It's totally fine. It's not a big deal. I don't get why people take this stuff so seriously that they need to, like, lash out.
Well, yeah, and
that to me is what pisses me off.
And it's like, why do we need to take this stuff so seriously that we're putting other people down too?
Right.
And like that part doesn't make sense. It's just let people enjoy stuff. Life is much happier when you enjoy the stuff you like and other people enjoy the stuff they like.
And I think you should all be able to explain why you do or don't like it.
Sure.
I think that's important and fun. But I think once it crosses the line to, like, you're a piece of shit because you do or don't like the thing.
Right.
I don't know. That's a turnoff to me.
It is.
I just don't care anymore then.
Right.
And this also kind of pushed me out of the Star Wars fandom. I have no interest in the Star Wars fandom. I have interest in individual Star Wars fans, but not the fandom. Because I feel like it's way too angry, way too hive-minded, way too much you're not a real fan if, or you're only a real fan if, and I just got tired of it. It just made me not care. And I think people don't understand that they push a lot of people away from the stuff they care about by acting this way.
Yeah.
You know, there's a ton of people who have no interest in playing Fortnite because of the meme of the crazy children who play Fortnite.
Yeah.
And that's too bad. Fortnite's a fun game. Or at least it can be. And you might like it, you might not. But, like, I do think it's too bad. That's just a random example. That there's a ton of people who will never try it because there's a subset of people who have just been so toxic and insane with it, you know, that it just ruins it for people. And I think a lot of people do that with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why you're not a real fan if you said this.
Well, I guess I'm not a real fan because I like all of Assassin's Creed.
No, I'm not a real fan either. I've never played a single one. I buy them. I use them as coasters.
What?
So I don't know. Let us know what you think about the fake fan discussion down below. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. We appreciate you very much.
And if you don't come in and say Assassin's Creed Origin is your favorite, you're a fake fan.
Right, exactly. You're no true Scotsman to me.
Right.
Well, anyway, have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shway.